Facebook and YouTube channels this afternoon. So here for the US unemployment claims. Last week, like previous weeks, the last 6 or 7 weeks, it's been a massive beat. Well, not a massive beat, but it was a significant beat. 2.5 million were expected last excuse me, last week. It came in close to 3 million. So lots and lots of newly unemployed Americans in the last few weeks because of the pandemic. And we're expecting 2.4 million today. Just bring in the charts in a minute and see what that comes out. That's out in, say, about 15 minutes time or so. So anything you want me to discuss, please stick it in the chat box. We'll have a look at it together. Dollars remained relatively weak today. Sterling's ticked up on better PMIs. Euro's up as well, back over 110 at the moment. Sterling back over the key 122 cable rate, and dollar yen currently trading down to 107.65. 107.65 is a key area. So hi everybody, hi Imran, hope you're well. And hope you enjoyed Eid this weekend. Your Ramadan's gone well, coming to an end this weekend, isn't it? Eric, hello. Good to see you. Anything we want me to have a look at, please let me know. We'll check the news and the data as it comes in. But if there's any particular asset you want me to have a look at, please bring it up. So first, I'm very well. I hope you're well as well. Pound against the yen and the gold, please. Well, gold's been very well bid. So let's bring in the charts, which means me sharing my screen. So just bear with me a second. Let's just see how this is going to work. Let's hope that works and share. So there we go. So if you don't mind, I'll just take you off. There's lots of questions coming in here now, so we can see the whole screen. So pound yen was the first one. And so I'll click on you there. No need to hide. There we go. Where's he gone? Let's just hide that. And show. And click on that. Now it's showing it. For some reason, I need to get. First time I've used this new technology, and it's. Oh, we'll leave one on, shall we? Let's leave one on for now. Right, where were we? Pound yen. So let's have a look at pound yen for everyone. Right, well, it's okay because we're going up. So pound yen, this is a 1 hour chart. You can see we're across. No, you can't. Can you see that? Yeah, actually, that's interesting, isn't it? You got that screen, hopefully, and that screen. Hopefully, you can still hear me as well. Pound yen, sorry, that's the wrong chart. I wonder, that looked a bit odd. Pound yen, right, let me get organised here. Pound yen, here we are, pound yen, that's more like it. So here on the 1 hour chart, we've been tilting down from the height here on Tuesday. Wednesday, we went down. Thursday, we've gone down again. 131.25, that crossed here from the swing strategy here. That went long a few hours ago. And we ran into the pivot point at 131.80. That's a key resistance, and we've got another key resistance here at 132. So two big resistance for dollar pound. Zoom that in for pound against the yen, the Widowmaker. So 132, which we couldn't hold earlier in the week, rallied up here from this low under 130. This is our 130.75 handle here, which is 72. So it's positive at the moment following the positive readings this morning from the PMIs out of the UK, but we ran to pivot point and now it's bouncing back down, so we need to break over 131.80 today and then 132 if we're going to go to the north. Support sits there at 131, where the 200-hour moving average is there, 131.35, and then S1 at 131.20, and then the bottom of the Bollinger Band there at 131 itself. So three key support areas and three key areas to the upside. When my friend on the 1 hour time frame, as far as gold is concerned, it's sold off today. I saw earlier. Again, guys, put your time frames in. If not, we'll default to this 1 hour time frame, and we'll go up to the daily and come down to the lower time frames if you're in. This is the daily on gold, which remains relatively well bid. The 1 hour rallied. I said this morning many times to people who were listening. So we had this big rally. Let's do a big history of this week. We had a big rally here to 1763 earlier in the week for the gold market. Big rally on Monday morning before we sold off Monday afternoon. Big rally Friday. And a similar on Thursday. That was the big breakout. Was Thursday. Let me zoom that in a bit. This is the big breakout here on. This is Thursday. Where am I talking about? This one here. This big. So Thursday was a big breakup. Friday we had a big hour, and Monday we had a big hour. So 3 big hours, 3 separate days. Took us to 1764. Then we came back down. We sold off, but we didn't breach under the key 1725 level. So 1725 has held. We've run down today, but the key level, let's zoom this back in, as far as today and yesterday was concerned, was this 50 Fibonacci level of this sell-off here on Monday. So we pivoting through that, and lo and behold, where is that level? Well, it's at the psychological 1750 level. So 1750 is the key pivot. We couldn't get over the 61.8 Fibonacci level yesterday at 1750, so we came off that. There we go, ran into there, 61.8, the 1750 level. And then we sold into close, and then it moved lower significantly here just after open this morning. And then we've continued to decline. We declined through S1, through S2, all the way to S3. Remember, S3, these extreme support and resistance levels, S3 and R3, typically they're only hit 5 or 6% of the time. So it's an extreme move today. Into the 200-hour supporting average here, which is at now 1730. So we've got a big, strong support at the moment between 1730 and $5 to the key daily breakout at 1725. So we've ran into that key 200-hour support. 3 hours tested it, couldn't hold it, and then we bounced up a wee bit. So if this is going to move back up, we need to try and recover 1740 and the S1. And that 20-hour moving average there for gold. But gold's had a weak day so far. I go, Ahmad, I've just talked about the key, the pound against the yen, so hopefully you are still here for there. Eric, gold, we just talked about. Next one, Imran, gold on the 4 hours, support and resistance. Okay, Imran. So let's just take this up. So let's finish the story. So this is the 1 hour story, but the resistance area still remain the same. Remember, we had this huge sell-off on Monday. So 1725 still key, 1730 is key, and today, let's say 1740 now becomes key. As far as the 4 hour time frame is concerned, the sell-off is a bit more compressed, as you might expect. So the big rally is still there, obviously, on Monday. Huge sell-off here on the Monday afternoon. Interestingly, though, we're still north of the 20-period 4 hour moving average, although obviously the 5 and the 9 have spiked down very, very aggressively. So for 4 hour traders, we're into this 25 Fibonacci, 23.6 Fibonacci level, sorry. That sounded like my MT4 was just dropping out, and my feed, for some reason, I've lost connection. Can everybody still hear me? I don't know if this is gone or not. Anyway, I'll keep talking until somebody says they can't hear me. Can we still hear me? 26 minutes past his last comment, which is a minute ago. So I'm assuming Misco, who put that NASDAQ request. I'll get to you, Misco. Hopefully you can hear me. Message me now. No, all good. So I'm getting somebody to tell me it's all good. Andrew's telling me it's all good. Right. So back to the question, which was Imran's 4 hour gold position. So here at 4 hours, big sell-off Monday, rallied up again, still that 61.8 at 1750. So all these key levels still play. As far as 4 hour trades are concerned, we've been down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive candles, and we've bounced a wee bit this morning as it turned up. So the key support is that S1 level. So 1730 still key for 4 hour traders, and below that 725. So that's still a key resistance support zone. And again, you know, you really want to break back over 1750 if we're going to move back up, but we'll see. But we've been that's been short since yesterday. 21 this morning. In fact, that's taking you down quite significantly. ATR here is $8.50 on the 4-hour time frame, so that remains relatively weak. Because let's zoom this up a bit on the 4-hour, because we're still under the. Let's zoom up the wheel, because we're still under the 20 period moving average there. A bit of a rounding top there, which is quite a negative sign. As I say, we didn't retrace the whole of that huge candle there that we sold off, but we did retrace to 61.8 of the extended move. So still relatively weak on the 4-hour, Imran, my friend. Next up is Zoe asking for euro dollar. So euro dollar on the 1 hour, Zoe has just breached the key 110 level. So that remains bid. Again, it's been moving about, but relatively good PMIs from Eurozone today has helped that. Now then, I'm just going to go to the calendar. Actually, it's a couple of minutes still to the calendar. But remember, the key data we're looking for today is that unemployment data from the US, the new claims and existing continuation claims, because there has been some noises of people, as let me just go back to this. As the economy starts to open up in the US, there are, you keep seeing postings for jobs required, in restaurants and other places like that. So not necessarily taking back people that have been furlonged, or people that have been laid off, not only furlonged in the United States. But so we'll see how that pans up. So. So there we go. So euro looks relatively well bid so far today, and having sort of slipped down. So if on the see how we've moved up quite significantly this week, and it's looking relatively well bid. So we've got a pivot point here today at 109.64. We're over 110, which is quite a significant move for euro dollar, and the 50 period also is rising quite nicely. 20 period rising quite nicely, and the moving average is all aligned there. So we would have got this crossing strategy would have given you a rise to the upside. So let me just check the date if the data's coming out. It's not quite out yet. Oops. So quick recheck this refresh. No, it's not coming. So anyway, so euro remains bid, Zoe, basically. If we go to the upper time frames, I don't know what time frame you're in, Zoe, but the 4-hour strongly bid. First time here in the 4-hour candle, we're over the 110 area. Obviously, this candle is yet to complete. We've got another 30 minutes. If it can hold over 110, that'd be relatively bullish. Those that trade on the 4-hour candles might be looking to get in after this, if this does hold over 110. But big resistance there at 110.10, just over that key 110 area. So see where euro progresses today. But again, the 4-hour trend line there. This is a down daily. This is the May. This purple line here. See, this is the May. This is beginning of May. This is the May downtrend line, and we breached it earlier this week here. It was a big move up, and then we followed through quite aggressively there. So this crossing EMA strategy would have taken you long here, and you're still long on this particular strategy. See how we've crossed the 5 and the 9 across over the 20 as well, and we've still continued to close above the 9 period EMA. So 4-hour traders, euro dollar crossing EMA strategy still long from early in the week here at 4. That would have been, what would that have been? That would be 4 o'clock on the 18th. So 4-hour traders remain long. Lots of questions coming in here. So let me just have a recap of where I am. Where did I get up to? I got Zoe with a euro. I hope I answered your question, Zoe. Lots of people saying hi. So hello, Shakil. Hello, Mohammed. I hope you're well. I hope you. Ramadan's been going well. Raja, US oil 4-hour, please. Nothing like a polite gentleman isn't saying please. So oil 1 hour, you can see continue to move up. It's even sexier in the 4-hour time frame, my friend. There we go. So another one that's been trending north since the big dip down. So this 20 period, my key moving average, whatever your time frame is, I love the 20 period moving average. Here, 4-hour traders, we're over the 20 period moving average. Where? There we go. We went there. This is back on the 12th of May, 12 o'clock. We breached the 4-hour. We ran into $25. You could have waited till the next candle because that was still a bit compressed, but it was looking pretty strong then. So from $25 here all the way to $34.40, we're still long and have yet to close out of that trade because we haven't. See how we haven't closed under the 9-period moving average. So it was relatively bullish there. That was the main one there. Really could have, comfortably waited till you closed over the $25 key level here. So that remains bullish, my friend. The inventories have backed that up this week as well as a surprise in both the private and the official EIA industries yesterday from the USA. So US oil now at R1 today, 34.35, and ran into it this morning. And again this afternoon, obviously that candle hasn't completed yet. So if that breaches, next level is R2 at 35. So $35, another big round number. Remember, fives and zeros, markets love them. So that's the next level. Support today is right through here at $33, where the pivot point sits, and halfway through that big, or the top end of that candle from the 20th from yesterday. So that's a key support, $33 for oil on the 4-hour time frame. My friend, thank you very much. Next one was Mohammed, pound cable. We did pound cable earlier, didn't we? But let's do it again. Mohammed, pound cable on the 1 hour has had a big leg up this morning from a general weakness sort of yesterday and this morning ahead of the PMIs. Won't worry about, but both manufacturing and particularly services PMIs were better than expected in the UK this morning. The composite was also better out of Europe, France and Germany. They were all a bit better as well, particularly the services sector. So dip under 22 for most of the morning. It's the 1 hour time frame, Mohammed. Big rally there, breaching the 20-hour moving average, and then sort of run out of steam. I haven't had this big candle on the big fundamentals. So again, see how we've run to a cluster area, resistance area, which doesn't happen to be, but that's why it's stalled, one would argue. At the 200-hour moving average there at 122.25, basically another round number. Above that is 122.50, where the pivot point sits, and then above that is R1 at 122.75. So again, quite round number. So 122.50, 122.75 to the upside. To the downside, support now is at 122 flat itself, where S1 and the psychological number is a little 8-pip range there, so that's a bit of a support. And then the actual low this morning of the candles of the hours is there at 121.88. So sterling doing okay against the dollar today. Obviously, we've got PMIs out of the US as well, so see where that one goes as well as the data comes out. So the data should be out now. Let me have a quick check on how we've reacted. So bang in line for a change. So I don't know if you I don't think I can share this, can I? I've only got one way of sharing it. So let me just read out the US data at 3:30 server time. So the Philly Fed index came in at minus 43.1. That's worse than expected. It was minus 56.6 last time. Wasn't as good as what was expected, which was 41.1. But so it's it's better than last time. So things are improving, not as good as expected. The key number everybody's been waiting for is the jobless claims for the week ending the 15th of May, and that's coming at 2.4 million. So again, let me reiterate this. Again, it's worse than expected. It's only this time, 38,000. But if you're, one of those people who have lost their jobs, again, this is the 9th week of really heavy job losses in America. That is now taking claims over the last 9 weeks to something like 39 million US citizens have become unemployed in the last 9 weeks. Huge number. The initial claims, that 4-week rolling average is now down to only 3 million a week. It was 3.5 million last week. So a big number. And we've got an hour to wait or so for the PMI data and the existing home sales as well. So lots of data out of the US as well. So again, unemployment, big claim. It's it was bigger than expected. There was some hope that it might come in better than expected, but it hasn't. It's worse than expected again. So it's 2.438 million US initial jobs claims for this week on top of 36.5 million we'd had in the last past 8 weeks. So do the maths. That's an awful lot of unemployed Americans and voters as well. But it doesn't seem to be denting Mr. Trump's popularity, particularly with his hardcore base. So that's the data. So where were we? We were with Mohammed on cable. So next, Raj says he's holding a buy. I guess you're talking about oil, my friend. Well done. Congratulate that. Trend is your friend, and the trend is very much to the upside for the oil market. Asher, good afternoon to you, sir. Replying to your support 1730, resistance 1750, big below. Yep, fair enough. Fair comment. That's a gold comment, Asher. I guess you're talking about. That's fair enough. Somebody else said, message me. Okay, this is all this inter-messaging going on. Can I have a link to the Zoom meeting? I haven't got a Zoom meeting, my friend. Next one, Misco, NASDAQ, 100 1-hour time frame. As I mentioned this morning to some guys that were asking me, the NASDAQ is the best. I said last week, I think, on our little weekly video that we do on YouTube now and on our Facebook pages. NASDAQ is the best performing of all the US equity markets. And I haven't actually got it down here. I've only got, let me go to the, I should have it here, shouldn't I, really? Main page. Have I got it here? No, I haven't got it here. But anyway, I'll come back to some of these key components of the NASDAQ in a minute. Anyway, not that one. That's Ichimoku Cloud for the very exciting Microsoft move. Big up within 2% of its all-time high. This is Microsoft here at 185, all-time high up here at 190. Anyway, let's get to what Misco was asking, which is the NASDAQ. Where's index trades, index charts? There we are, index charts. So just to recap, Misco, NASDAQ 100, the USA 100, the best performing of all the equity market. So let me just leave it. I know you asked for 1 hour. Let's leave this up for, just bear with me for a second. This is the daily chart of the NASDAQ 100, the US 100. So we had this massive sell-off into the end of March. And look at our rebound. We're over the 61 key Fibonacci level, over the 50, back over the psychological 9,000. And we're within, a few hundred points now of this all-time high up here. At 9,730. So this remains this is the daily time frame. So look, the daily here, parabolic SAR has been positive since the break over 9,000 here back on the 29th of April. So it's been a very strong May for the NASDAQ, and up it goes. So that's the 1 hour. So as we drill down, the lower time frames will remain very positive as well. So the 4 hour remains positive, way over its 20-hour moving average, way over its 50-period moving average here. A nice positive MACD moving up there, signal line, way over the zero line, signal line, high histograms. RSI 62, still got some legs in it on the 4 hour, but more interesting, Nisco wanted a 1 hour. So here we are, 1 hour's flattened out a wee bit over the last, let me just put the just so I get a feel for where we are in the 1 hour. So rallied yesterday into a high. Again, we were up 2% yesterday. And as I mentioned again, I think on my Facebook page, some of the big players are over their all-time highs already. Facebook and I can't remember which of the other one was. I wrote it down this morning. Yeah, Facebook is 2.5% above its all-time high, and Amazon is 0.5% over its all-time high. The others are very close. Microsoft 2.6%, Apple 2.6%, and Netflix 2.46% within its 52-week high. And again, some of them have already been there and come back down again. So these key technology stocks are very, very well bid at the moment. So that's been held today. Future here, the USA 100 before. We're at 50 minutes before the cash open. 9425's key support. We've got a 50-hour here at the bottom of the Bollinger Band, providing further support at 9,400. We just need to try and retest that 9,500 level. So that's where we've run out of steam, as you might expect. Another big fat round number, 9,500. NASDAQ 100 ran out. But this morning, this afternoon, we've had 3 strong up candles.